What's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome back to the continuation of the last episode that I talked about recurrent urinary tract infections, UTI, bacterial vaginosis, BV, and yeast infection, candidiasis. I talked about these infections in depth, and I divided the practices that keep on bringing these infections, because I insisted and I said it is not always about treatment. So treatment should never bother you, but what are these practices that keep on bringing you these infections even after you treat them? That is what is important. It is not about which drug do I use to treat this recurrent UTI, bacterial vaginosis, or yeast infection. That is not important. Whatever drug you will use, it doesn't matter, as long as you recover from the infection. But recovering is not an issue actually, because if you use any drug, for example, if you have an urinary tract infection, then you use a certain antibiotic, then you're good, and then it clears, you're good, of course. But what are you supposed to do so that you don't get a recurrence of the same infection? So I talked about that a lot in the previous episode. So if you never watched that episode, please make sure you watch that episode before this one, so that you can actually understand what we are talking about. Okay, so I divided the practices into two, but later on I brought in about that subdivision, or that division. So I was talking about sexual practices, hygiene practices, and later on I brought about sanitation practices when it comes to periods, and the hygiene that is required, the standards of hygiene that you have to meet when you are on your periods. Okay, so I'll continue with hygiene practices. So I mentioned on the same video, I mentioned that I said that hygiene is very key. If you have to prevent occurrence of any disease, any infection, then you have to make sure that your hygiene is perfect. You meet the required standards of personal hygiene. So I said before you go in, you go to any washroom and do your business, you have to make sure that you do hand washing. You have to practice hand washing before and after visiting the washrooms. So the ones should stick, because most people are not used to that. Most people are used to just you walk in to that washroom, you do your business, then after that you leave. You're washing your hands after leaving the washroom, so that you don't carry with yourself some dirt, some soil to maybe to your eating places or something like that. You don't want to carry bacteria from the washroom to somewhere else. But what about giving yourself infections before you leave with some dirt or some bacteria from the washroom to other places? You have to take care of yourself first. So that is why it is important, or that is the rationale of you washing your hands first before you touch yourself. Because if you touch yourself when you're in the washroom, or when you're in the washroom, when you're in the process of helping yourself, you give yourself some bacteria, of course that one will bring some infections later on. Then after that you leave the washroom, then wash your hands. Are you getting the logic? So you have to make sure that you wash your hands first, visit the washroom, do your business, leave the washroom, wash your hands again, dry your hands, and leave. You understand that? So that is a practice that you have to make sure that you start implementing. If you never used to do that, you have to learn to do it. Okay. There is also the same issue that I wanted to really insist, to emphasize on, but I mentioned it in the previous video, about taking a shower. Most women do not know how to take a shower. Of course, there is no one who will teach you about how to take a shower. You shower the way you feel like it is. You just do your own things, the way you feel it should be done. But who said that is how it should be done? But of course, we have the ideal way of taking a shower as a woman. Remember, this video is this video is supposed to address women more than men. But of course, men have a point to learn from the same video. But this video is creating so much emphasis on women's hygiene, because women are suffering, and I don't know what is happening. It's like we have an outbreak, a sudden outbreak of yeast infections and UTIs. I don't know what is happening, but I have noticed that every woman is complaining about that. So these are the practices that you have to make sure that you follow, so that you don't get these infections. And if you have it, you treat it, then you practice what we are talking about, so that you don't get a recurrence of the same. Okay. So about taking a shower, I'm sure that you all know how to take a shower, but we are trying to prevent infections. So I also mentioned in the previous video that there is we have 3 levels of disease prevention. We have primary level of disease prevention, we have secondary level and tertiary level. So primary level is very important at all cases or in all diseases. So primary disease prevention is very important because you're preventing occurrence of the disease. Secondary disease prevention, you're preventing, because you have a disease already, you're preventing complications of that disease. In tertiary level, you're preventing disability from the infection that you're already treating. Okay, so the most important of the 3 levels is primary disease prevention, because you're preventing the disease or the infection from happening. So taking a shower is key. It is very important when it comes to primary disease prevention or infection prevention. Okay, so taking a shower. So most of you just take the normal shower, use a soap. Then there is maybe you have an overhead shower, so water is just falling down on you. Then you're done. Then maybe you just use your bathing towel. Then you just clean your Miss V. Then you rinse yourself. Then you leave the bathroom and go and dry yourself. And then you just put on your clothes and you leave for work or whatever place you're going. But that is not the ideal thing. So remember, soaps should not, if they are scented soaps, for those who are using shower gels, if they are scented, not just if they are scented, shower gels is a no. Do not use shower gels on your V. If you have to use that shower gel, use it elsewhere in your body, but on your body, but not anywhere close to your Miss V. Okay, because you mess up things. So that one also gives an explanation why you should not be using perfumed soaps, detergents, soaps with detergents and stuff like that. So if you have to use soap, then it must be plain bar soap. So how do you go about the process of taking a shower? You just do the normal shower, but this time you're not using shower gel, because it is likely, because if you're using an overhead shower, there is a possibility that if you have applied the shower gel on your bathing towel and you're washing your face, then your chest, your back and whatever, there is a likelihood that that water will drip into your V. So to prevent any water that is not supposed to be dripping inside to drip, then you must not use those shower gels. Just use your plain bar soap. It's good. Just use a plain bar soap with no smell, no scent, no detergents, no nothing. Just a plain bar soap. Apply nicely. Let that water just let the water run on you. Then you just do the normal shower. You clean you wash your face, your neck, your chest, your boobs, your whatever the process. Then you have to, when it comes to your lower body, then you have to skip your V first. Then do a cleanup on your thighs, your back, your buttocks, your legs, and then you're done. Okay. Then after that, you rinse yourself nicely. Then the next thing is concentrating on Miss V, how to clean it up. So how are you supposed to go about it? The same reason when you have a newborn in the house, in the family, the same reason why you don't share items with that neonate, that infant, is because you know very well that you're likely to give this newborn some infections. That is the same reason why you should not be sharing items, especially sharing items with your partner, with the rest of the family members. Everyone should have their personal items when it comes to taking a shower. I've had cases whereby partners are sharing bathing towel. That is wrong. Do not share your bathing towel with your partner. Use your own bathing towel. It should be private. Don't even line them together. You know, there is a way you have, you after taking a shower, you want to dry that bathing towel, and still there is that bathing towel from your partner, and there is a way you line them, and they are getting into contact. That is not allowed. Right? They should never get into contact. So your personal towel should be a personal bathing towel. You should not share it. Right? So what happens if you share the bathing towel? There is a likelihood, if your partner is sharing the same towel with you, your partner has no time to think about what he is doing. Because for men, you just need to just do it randomly. Whether you start with your legs, your head, whatever way you start it, end of the day is that you will have taken a shower. So it doesn't matter how you do it. So in the process of taking a shower, and maybe you're showering together and you're so excited, or maybe you're not you're not showering together, maybe you did it first, then he came home, then he's doing it later, but you're sharing the same bathing towel. What is likely to happen is that a man is likely to clean up his buttocks or his perianal region using the same bathing towel. That should never get into contact with the perianal region. You know that, huh? So if you have his perianal region cleaned up with the same bathing towel, then you come later on and use the same bathing towel which has his E. coli bacteria from his perianal region that you come and bring into your V, and you get infections. That is why you should never share a bathing towel with your partner, okay? So what are you supposed to do after taking a shower? A full body shower, then I said you have to skip Miss V. Okay, so how do you go about cleaning up Miss V? I've said that you must have personal items like a small personal basin. A small personal basin. It is very important that you should never be sharing with anyone. Then you must have your personal bathing soap, plain bar soap, okay? And then a personal towel, okay? I have said that. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to use plain bar soap. Then you have to use some warm or cold water. Do not use hot water on your Miss V because you're likely to get scalds and burns, okay? And of course, drying up. Actually, even when you're taking a general body shower, you're not supposed to be taking hot showers because you're messing up with your skin. Right? And the moment you leave a hot shower, you realize that your skin needs to have some oil or some lotion applied on it because it becomes dry and cracky, okay? So that is the same reason why you should not use hot water to clean up your Miss V, okay? So you just need to use warm or cold water, okay? The next thing that you're supposed, or the next step, you're supposed to, remember you have a plain bar soap and a bathing towel that is personal. Then you have some cold or warm water in your small personal basin. Then the next thing should be squatting. I'm trying to teach you how to do it. And of course, the moment you learn how to do it, you do it so fast. You don't have to waste a lot of time doing that, or taking too much care of yourself. You learn it, you learn the skills, the technique, then you'll be doing it so fast, and no one will even ever notice there is anything unique that you do. So you just put the plain, the plain clean warm or cold water in the basin, then you squat. Then the next thing should be use your non-dominant hand to open up the lips. So if your non-dominant hand is your left hand, like mine, if this is my non-dominant hand, I will use these two fingers to open up the lips. Remember, you're squatting, you open up the lips. Now using you have already opened the lips of your Miss V. Then using the dominant hand, if it's your right hand, and remember you're squatting, and that's more basin with warm or cold water is just below you. You just throw in some cold water or some warm water inside. So you just do it nicely. Remember, do not douch. Douching is whereby you want to clean the deepest end of your Miss V. That is wrong. You mess up with the pH. Okay. So the next thing is the same way you clean up your cups, the same way you do your dishes. You don't start cleaning up your dishes from the outside. You start from the inside, then the outside, right? That is the same technique that you should always apply when it comes to cleaning up your Miss V. So after throwing in some water, remember the lips are still open. Use your 2 fingers, your 3 fingers, or your 1 finger, whichever fits, to do the cleanup. Remember, there is no soap when you're doing that from the inside. I'll say do not douch. That cleanup is not douching. So you use your 2 fingers. If 2 fingers are fitting, you just do it nicely, all round, using a circular motion, all round, okay? So that one helps in clearing any discharge that is inside or any menstrual blood that is stuck from the inside. You'll be able to clear that with the 2 fingers, okay? Then after that, you release the lips, you're good. So the next thing is you take your plain bar soap and you apply on that bathing towel. You apply nicely. Remember, this soap is not perfumed. It has no detergents. It has 0 detergents. If it hasn't any, then there are those weak detergents, okay, as part of the ingredients that made up that soap. So you apply nicely on the bathing towel. Then again, after you have applied that plain bar soap on the bathing towel, remember you're still squatting. Then you do the cleanup. Use a circular motion to clean the vulva and the lips of your Miss V. Don't do this the way you do it. know what you do. That is not cleaning up, huh? That is just messing up. So you just do a circular motion nicely, then you're good. Then the next thing should be drying it up. You have now to have a dried, or a dry piece of clean towel. Then you just do nice cleanup. I mean drying up, huh? You dry up nicely, okay? Then you must make sure that there is no moisture, single moisture left on the inside. So what happens when you leave some moisture inside? Remember, a wet environment gives room for breeding of bacteria, yeast, and the rest. So because you don't want a breeding ground for those microorganisms, then you have to make sure that it is dry before you put on your panties, okay? So that is how you do the cleanup. And remember, we said if after that, the next thing should always be putting on your panties. If you do, put on them. If you don't, then you put on the rest, then you leave. So I've said that, we discussed this on the previous episode. We said that if you have to do that, to put on panties, then you have to make sure that these panties are not made of silk or nylon. They should be made up of cotton, and it should never be a tight one, okay? So that is about hygiene, and I hope you guys have learned a lot. And we said, I forgot to mention something about panties. Stop using your panties to take a shower. Don't take a shower. Don't use your panty as a bathing towel. Get yourself a personal bathing towel. Then when it comes to cleaning up the panties, clean up the panties. And we said you should soak them first, and don't use soap that has detergents to clean up, or any product that is recommended for cleaning up or washing clothes. Do not use those products. Just use the plain bar soap, the same soap that you take that you use to take a shower. You use the same soap. You apply nicely. You just soak, and make sure that water forms a foam. Then you soak for a few minutes. Then later on come and clean them up. Then you rinse them nicely. Then you sun dry them, or you just dry them outside. If it is cold, you have to make sure after they feel like they're dry, then you take them and you iron them, okay, nicely. So that is about hygiene. So if you observe all these practices that you have said, I'm 100% sure that you have noticed 1 or 2, 3 things or 5 things that you have been doing wrong, and that is why you have been getting these recurrent infections. So if you check on that, if you rectify on those things that you have been doing the wrong way, be granted that after treatment of these infections, you never have to complain again about these infections. But the key thing is the practices, not treatment. You check on your ways, your practices, you rectify, then you do treatment, then you continue with the same right practices, then you and infections will be history. You never have to complain about infections. So I hope you guys have learned a lot, and for those who have been battling these recurrent yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, and urinary tract infections, you can contact me through my contact details on my YouTube bio. You'll see on my description, you'll see my contact details, and still I'll put my contact details on the comment section, and I'll pin that so that you can contact me, maybe for treatment or to book an appointment. So I hope you have learned and you have enjoyed the episode. So if you have not subscribed, don't forget to give a subscription and leave a comment, like, share the video with your friends, and also don't forget to hit the subscription button. Sorry, not the subscription, but the notification button, so that you can get notified every time I upload a video.